This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, these are very Torah should be Luzchus, Yonis and Yosef ben Esther. I want to read to you in this Makohen the Kever of Rabbi Eliyahu, Hakohen of Izmir, the Baal Shevet Mussar, what the Chidah writes about him in his entry to the Shevet Mussar. He says he's one of the Rabbani Izmir. He composed more than 30 Svarim, almost 40. He was a big apotropos on the funds for Aniyim, and he was a very powerful Baal Darshan. He brought many people back to Tshuva. In fact, someone once came to Shevet Mussar. He said, "You should know that until I heard your drasha, I was primed, I was ready to commit a certain Aveira, and because of your drasha, I changed my Mahalach." But moreover, the Shevet Mussar writes, one time he encountered someone who was very broken, a Tzibrach and a Yid, and he poured out his heart to Shevet Mussar, and the Shevet Mussar, he gave him the attention, he was listening, he gave him a shoulder to cry on. And the person later told the Shevet Mussar, "You should know, if I wouldn't have met you on that day, if you wouldn't have listened to me, I was ready to be ma'abed atzmi ladas, you saved my life." Shevet Mussar says, whenever you encounter somebody and something's bothering them, you should give them the time, you should give them the patience, because you never know, you might be saving this person's life. Just to share with you a few of the svarim of the Shevet Mussar and some of the chidushim of the Shevet Mussar. He wrote a sefer Minchas Eliyahu. There he wants to know why Yitzchak gave Yaakov the bracha of Tal. Why did he give V'yitein lecha Elohim mital hashamayim? He says because it was Pesach, and Pesach we daven for Tal. So therefore Yitzchak gave the bracha to Yaakov the bracha of Tal. Shevet Mussar quotes Kadmoinim that the reason why we had to go down to Mitzrayim is because Yaakov Avinu allowed Aramaic to creep into the Torah. When he had a conversation with Lavan, and Lavan said, Yegar so hadusa, that Aramaic that crept in the Torah is why we went down to Mitzrayim. So says the Shevet Mussar in his commentary to the Haggadah begins with Halach Ma'anya B'Lashon Aramis. Why? To indicate that the whole night of Pesach is because Aramaic crept into the Torah. That's why when Yosef was sold, it says, V'hinei orchas Yisrael ba migilad, to remind you of the Galed that Yaakov Avinu said instead of Yegar so hadusa. It's suggested that's why Shemois begins Ve'ela Shemois Shnai Mikra Ve'echa Targum. Some Sofer writes Shnai Mikra Ve'echa Targum is Mavatel Targum Baroiv. So Hashem is makdim the refuah before the makkah. We went down to Mitzrayim because of Aramaic in the Torah. So as a refuah, we have the mitzvah of Shnai Mikra, we're Mavatel the Targum Baroiv. One other major theme the Shevet Mussar talks about, he also wrote a sefer Medrash Talpiyos. In Medrash Talpiyos, he's the one who quotes the idea that when you give tzedakah le'iloi nishmas Rameir Balanes, it brings Yeshuos. This is recorded by the Baal Shevet Mussar in the sefer Medrash Talpiyos. But a major theme in the Shevet Mussar is the Machlokes, the Rambam, and the Abarbanel. Are you allowed to do mitzvahs to get Olam Haba? The Rambam writes on the Mishnah Avos, Altiu kavod misham shalosh amanas lekabel pras, not to do mitzvahs for pras olam haba. And the Abarbanel says no, pras is a prize, but olam hazeh avada you're allowed to do mitzvahs to get schar olam haba. And the Shevet Mussar in many of his svarim is machriya, not like the Rambam, like the Abarbanel, that it's admirable, it's noble to do mitzvahs for olam haba, and that's how we paskin. He says, he writes this in many makoimos. So Shevet Mussar was not only a great Talmid Chacham, but he was also mashpia on Klal Yisrael. L'toiva zchusa yagin aleinu v'al Klal Yisrael. Amen.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.